Okay. Yeah, it's kind of dark over here. You're gonna see little parts in my face. I'm in and out for a little bit. I was thinking about this earlier, and this probably gonna be an unpopular opinion, but I really don't feel like dating and relationships are as hard as people are making them. I honestly think that they're hard when you're with the wrong person. Now, is it challenging to navigate people that might have opposing personalities, or job schedules maybe affecting the connection or whatever? Like those things, like real life stuff that happens in your single days too. Like some of the stuff that's hard is some of the stuff that you would deal with if you were by yourself. But if you have somebody, that's why I say if it's the wrong person, I feel like it's what makes it harder than it has to be. Because if you have somebody that is on the same type of time that you're on, meaning that they're on the same page as far as what they want out of life, do they even value life? Do they value family? Do they value making sure that their finances are at least somewhat decent? Are they committed to growing as a person? Do they make time for their hobby? Like whatever two people feel like they value, are they in alignment with it? And do the basis of what you're looking for, do they align with each other? Like if you say family comes first, does this person also feel like, hey, family is a big factor in my life? Now y'all are gonna have some serious conversations though about what exactly does that mean. Does that mean that anytime a family member needs you, you're Johnny on the spot, but when I ask you to come with me to the gym, you can't do it? Now that might be an issue. So communication is very much so one of the major keys to making a relationship work. But hard, is it really hard? Because how many people already feel like it's hard to manage your job and make sure you go to the gym? Or it's hard to meal prep when you're actually tired because you work 7 days a week. Like, it's hard to balance that. You're trying to work on yourself and heal and really could use a day off, but you only get your blessed 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, or whatever your days are, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever the case may be. And let's say you have to care for an elderly parent, or you have children. Like, that's hard. But with the right person, and you already gonna still have life throw life stuff at you, if you have somebody else that's in your team, on your team, and that has your back, when you with the right one, I'm telling you, it make you feel like you could do anything. Even on days where you give up, the person that is supposed to be in your life, just looking at them and knowing that they're there because of how they've poured into you in whatever way that you feel the most loved, you will just look at that person and it is almost as if your problems fade, or they're not as big, because you know you have someone backing you. You know you have support. It's just like, all I need is this one. Now, it doesn't mean that you put your whole entire faith and belief into a person, because people can change their mind. But that's why you live moment to moment. If you have chosen the right person, if that person has chosen the right person with you, then y'all decide how y'all want this thing to go. If we say, hey, like, how many people are you sitting down with your person every month or every week, or however y'all decide to do it? Are y'all sitting down and saying, hey, do we have any goals this month? Is there anything that We need to focus on, hey, you just started this new position. How are you holding up? How is it impacting you in a way that you didn't expect? Like, are we really getting to know the people that we're saying we want in our lives? Or is it just got them here, good, checked it off the bucket list? Like, that is the work, but is that hard when you actually want that person? Is it hard though? Maybe it's the fact that, I don't know, maybe some people are dealing with people that has never been through nothing. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody needs to have somebody that's like like got it out the gutter or come from the slums or nothing like that. Like, it don't necessarily mean that that's the type of person, like, you need to make sure they have that in their background. That doesn't necessarily mean that, but it's like, are you overcoming things that life throw at you? How are you doing that? Like, are you the type of person that when you get into a bind, you go be with somebody because they got money, or because you think that having this person here would, it's like, are you using people and manipulating people? How have you actually gotten through life? And then you have to have a grounded sense of reality too, to where it's gotta make sense. Like, are these people down to earth in some degree where it's like, even if they're like, I don't actually know how, this was the plan that I had in place, and I was just going to do this and hope that it worked. Eventually I realized it wasn't working, and I got myself into a bigger bind, so I had to downsize, or I had to go back with family. Like, real rawness, vulnerability, real life stuff that happens. Not this, everybody needs to be like this at a certain point in time, and everybody, this is how life is supposed to go. It's like, yo, your journey is your journey, and my journey is my journey. But what kind of character is being built from how we're responding to life? And then I was thinking about this too. I was like, I thought about this like some years ago, but it came back today. I remember asking myself years ago, like, why does it seem like good people, and I don't want to break it down like good or bad people, but it's like real genuine people end up with people that don't appreciate them, don't value them in no type of way. It's like, how did you end up there? I'm like, I thought about, I probably actually was when I first thought about it, I think I was maybe like, I had to be between 18 and 20 or something like that. Because I keep picturing myself as like a late teenager, early 20-year-old. So somewhere around there is how I'm picturing when I first had this thought. I was like, we're mismatched. I was like, why are we all mismatched out here? But as I've grown, this more evolved version of me, that question came to me. I thought about that memory. And the evolved version of me says, it appears mismatched because there are people who are sent here as healers. There are people that are sent here as teachers. And it's not always connected to a means of making money. Healers are going to get with people that have trust issues, people that feel like they've never been loved, people that don't know how to love, people that's had a terrible upbringing, people that have been divorced, people that have had failed relationships, people that have money issues. If your purpose is to heal, And this is why I've always talked about, and I've been guilty of doing this even after knowing about keeping a certain level of detachment when it comes to other people. I am guilty of knowing this information, and I have still found myself in one particular situation forgetting it. But the line was so thin that it wasn't until I realized I was overly attached that I realized I was not applying the wisdom that I had gained. This is why you keep a certain level of detachment. And it was one particular instance where I told somebody that I felt like they were an assignment. In so many words is what I said. Well, it's like when they played it back for me, I could hear how it would have came off in as far as them being an assignment. And because I was so overly attached to this person, I didn't even recognize that when they felt bad about me actually speaking the truth. And this is a sidebar. I don't know. This is probably one of my gifts too. There are moments that I have noticed where a person's soul will come out and speak. Now, this can be tricky because sometimes this is how you're gonna know the difference, because I can see it being one of those instances where it's like, okay, but this person may be lying because they'll deny. But there's a difference. When a person's soul comes out and speaks, sometimes the soul is a part of you that's connected to truth. The soul is the part of you that connects to your conscious. That it's like that deep embedded part of you that knows right from wrong. And that part of you knows truth. So even a liar, if their soul comes out and speaks to you, it will still be truth. And the thing sometimes about when the soul comes out and speaks is that that person may say, I never said that. But if you are living honestly and authentically, you will know truth in a couple of different ways. You will know truth by how it feels, or how it feels flowing through you. And you will know truth by the fruits that comes from that truth. Okay? There are moments, so don't get it confused, because even with somebody that does lie, if their soul comes out and speaks some type of truth to you, you'll know. You will know. And sometimes people will speak truth before they realize that they did, and they'll just rather act like they didn't say it, because it would mess up whatever they got going on, or whatever the game plan was for the situation. I don't know. Everybody, it's just weird stuff. Okay, you'd be surprised what some people lie about. It's like, yo, you could have been straight up. But on the example of, I get it. I'm a woman. You tell a guy, be honest with me, and based off whatever responses he's gotten from women in the past, or whatever other guys have told him about being honest with women. Like, some people know honesty will get you the woman that you want, and some people believe that after they've tried to do that, the results of that honesty made it worse with dealing with that woman. Like, I get it, but it's just like, but you couldn't even have come up with a better lie. Like, at least let it be one that still allows you to keep some type of I don't know, like, don't make your character look that bad. But I mean, regardless of gender, really, I'm just using me for example because I'm a woman. I can't pretend to be anybody else. I can't act like I'm somebody that I'm not. So I gotta speak from my own experience. But anyways, I told this person that they were an assignment in so many words. And because of the attachment to them, you know, they were like, so you just look at me like an assignment? And did I mean that like as in like, oh, I'm just here because God told me to be here? No, I actually genuinely wanted to be there. And that's how it started with me trying to go into it. I was in a connection with somebody where I found myself trying to prove myself. And that could have been one of the first signs that this is what I was going to be in for, that I ignored. I wasn't trying to say it like that. It was something, I can't remember the full topic, but I was trying to relate in the sense of, I know what you're talking about because I felt that way as far as like, I'm here, I've met you for a reason. And I remember the first time that I was, the first time I went out with this person, it was so random. We were bowling. And I don't remember who just finished a turn or whatnot, but I remember I turned around and I looked at him and I said, I am here to challenge you. And this is the thing about really getting to know people, because in his mind, from his perspective, and what I wasn't thinking about because I wasn't in his shoes, he thought about, when he heard me say that, he thought about every woman that has challenged him, and what they were challenging him with was completely opposite of what I meant by what I said. I was speaking from the assignment base of, I know, I get somewhat why we met and why we're dating. I don't get the full part of it. I don't get what's really going to come out of it. But I don't get the full part of why or where it's going to come from. But that was part of like that truth coming out of me. But I had said it before I even had realized I said it. So I'm not exempt from, just because I might, I don't know if it's a gift or not, it may be, or maybe I just pay attention to, I'm detail oriented. I'm the type where I observe everything and say very little. Because if this is an act, I want to be able to see you in its full, like, let me see the full performance. I don't want to throw you off. I don't want you to miss no lines. I want you to be who you are, free of judgment. If this is you, this allows me to be able to see what I'm dealing with. And I'm not just talking about relationships, but this video was about relationships. It's like, no, let me see you in your full everything. Because this is helping me to paint to be able to see what I'm going to be getting, whether, you know, consistently or whatever. Anyways, yeah, that person's perspective was that I was going to challenge them in a negative way. Like, be combative every time they say that they think this should happen, that I'm going to say this. And it took further down the line for that to come back up, for it to be like, I actually thought you meant this. And I'm like, why would you think that? Make sure you're asking about, like, people have this thing now where they're talking about something, don't know a person's past. I feel like there is a time and a place to tell, I'm not saying tell somebody everything about what you've experienced and what you've gone through. But I do feel like there are certain things that should be known or should be discussed. Yeah, the past is in the past, but the past has also made you the person that's sitting in front of that person, and vice versa. So there are some things that I think should be known so that a person knows what they're getting into. It's like, where were you born? Where did you grow up? Who did you grow up with? Who raised you? You know, what were some of the things that you noticed in your past relationships that You know, what do you think you could have done differently? Do you think you were at fault for the breakup? How did you contribute? What did you learn from it? There are some things that you can't ask that I think would help to get a better understanding of who you're dealing with. Those are just me throwing out some random things, but it's like really understand, because men and women do think differently. I don't care if you switch the roles, the genders or not. That's your life. Do what you want. But your DNA is still gonna operate biologically from what you were born as. Now you can go and revamp some things and things like that, but there are still gonna be parts of you that are still linked to the body that you were born with. I do believe that. And I think that's why some people struggle within their body, because they're fighting something that is scientific and trying to get it to match their feelings. And I think that's why some people end up being suicidal. And I'm on a tangent right now, but I think I understand why some people have felt, why they felt like they were trapped in their body, or why they felt like they wanted everything to match, and they're fighting something that is actually encoded in their DNA. I think that adds more stress, and that makes them more uncomfortable. So I get it. I have compassion for people that are just trying to figure it out, just like anybody else. I'm not going to judge nobody or ridicule nobody because they trying to figure it out, because don't nobody got it all figured out. And sometimes you got to go figure it out the hard way. Some of us got to figure out the hard way, and some of us is just like, it is what it is. But I do. I feel like some people are with people to help them to grow, to help them to have an opportunity to change, to be better, to show up differently, to be challenged to pursue certain things. And tonight I was thinking, like, there could be contracts that you have with certain people. It's like, I'm not saying that this is what God has done. I don't know. But it's just my mind allowing myself to kind of tap into things that I haven't really thought about. Especially if it hits my mind and I'm not thinking about it like on purpose, I explore it. Because I got too much stuff going on in my day-to-day to be trying to figure out all of this. So when it hits me, I take the time out to contemplate and to think it through, or at least allow my mind and my thoughts to kind of open up in that area to see, is there information or knowledge or wisdom that can be gained from that. So, and it's almost, I was thinking about, like I said, I was thinking about tonight, like, there being contracts, and God, like, okay, there are 5 people that you are going to meet. Of course, it's like, before you're born, it's just like, let's have a meeting, let's talk. You're going to meet 5 people, and you all are on assignment with each other. Y'all are not going to last. It would be best if you abstain from having sex with them. It would be best if you could cultivate a friendship, and there could possibly be 1 or 2 of these people that you have the potential to go long term with, but you may or may not, depending on where y'all are when I bring you 2 into each other's life. You may have a kid with this one, you may not. You have free will. But you are there to show each other love, compassion, grace. And some of these people you're going to experience pain with. It may be gut-wrenching, but it will be for your good. Because you might be on a high with this person. Y'all might end. You're going to hit a low. But you'll be higher than you ever been when it's over and you heal. And then you meet somebody that you actually are like, okay, I got to be with somebody else who has earned their stripes, in a sense. This part is just my mind wandering into all that. The first part I gave was more of more wisdom, and then my mind kicks back in. It's like, what if it's like this? I guess that's like that inner child part of me that's like wondering, like, what if God says this and that? The human mind is so amazing. But I don't think that they're hard. I really don't. It's like, especially, oh, I'm sorry. Was it Dago? Yes, Dago. I don't know. I think we both got here at the same time. I'll let him go. And then that's the other thing. Like, some people are saying, like, now that they're afraid to date. Don't be afraid of love or the potential of love. Don't be afraid of it. Because love does not actually hurt. And half the time, the person that you feel hurt you was also hurting. We're all made of love, and everybody is just waiting on that one person that in their mind either they feel somehow takes the pain away, that helps take their mind off of things, that makes them feel love despite their flaws. Of course, this is gonna show up different because some people is like, oh, thanks, I feel better. I just broke with somebody, you were a placeholder, and I'm done with you. I've been there before. I've been a placeholder. Did I think that was part of the assignment? No, I did not. That's life teaching me lessons. Showing me parts of the game that I was unaware of. So I actually know how to play to win this time. But yeah, it's... everybody really wants it deep down, whether they know it or not. It's like some people are trying to, like, everybody wants that. They want somebody to accept them for who they are. The thing is, make sure that person is actually who they are. Like, are they actually an authentic person? Because it's like, you can't treat me like crap and be looking at me crazy when I don't want to stick around to keep continuing this whole love connection thing. It's like, because I know that that's not actually who you are. But that's who you believe yourself to be. That's who you desire to be. Because anything you don't change is your choosing. Or that's all you think you will amount to. We got to know where our boundaries are with people. Even if they can't tell us themselves. Like me, I'm the type of person where if I initially might be interested in somebody, and at some point in time during the talking phase that I feel myself no longer interested, I let that person know. I'm mindful of people's feelings. And when I was younger, I would just fall back. I wouldn't say nothing really. I would just fall back. And I used to hope that that would show that I was losing interest. But what I noticed though is that, oh, okay. I was like, did these lanes just disappear? I'm like, wait a minute, I thought I was merging, I thought it was 3 lanes I had to cross. It was just 1. I mean 2 lanes, it was just 1 lane. I was like, wow, I'm in front of this car. It's so dark right there, they need to put some more lights right there. Because that really, it's like as soon as I went under that bridge, I could not see. But yeah, it's like, but when a guy really wants you, he ain't even paying attention to. He don't see that. You have to tell somebody straight up, like, okay, I think I'm gonna fall back. You know, this isn't really what I thought it was gonna be. You have to really communicate those things. And there are some people. Again, I can only speak because I'm a woman. Like, I don't know if guys have ever experienced this, but even after telling somebody, like, you know, I just would rather us just be cool. Trying to figure out the best way that's not so, because I'm also the type of person where it's like, if I never talk to you again, I want my last words to you to be something that helps you and does not hurt you. That's just who I am. Like, you could say some of the most foul things to me and I'm gonna still respond in truth. Now, if you get offended by that truth, that is on you. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. You could say, hey, that is not the truth what you're talking about. You could say, you don't mean that. I don't care. Because in my heart, my intentions are good. I'm gonna let you know, hey, moving forward, if you're gonna continue to date women, this might be an issue, blah, 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 blah. Now, whether they take the information or not, that's just on them. But I'm coming from a place of truth. I'm gonna leave you. You should have left better being involved with me than not. You shouldn't go down. Because that's gonna say a lot about who you were dealing with. Just being honest. You should improve. That's another thing people gotta watch out for. Like, is this person coming into your life to improve? Like, are they improving your life? Or do you feel like I could have did bad by myself? Do you see your life going down? Is it negatively or positively impacted by this person's presence in your life? But anyways, I've had to get to the point where I've had to literally block people because I'm not a user. I'm not a manipulator. I've literally, like, okay, I've told this person, I've tried to show them in my actions, I've tried to say it in the most nicest way, and eventually I had to block them because it was like they were just so caught up in whatever they wanted or whatever fantasy or illusion that they had, not even paying attention to that this person is no longer interested, even if they were interested. And I'm actually guilty of this myself. And I think that's also why I have been so conscious of it when it comes to other people. Even though I've already kind of been like that, it wasn't until I realized that why I was doing it. It was like I had to experience it on the other side. Being with somebody that don't want you. And me valuing myself a little bit more. And the fact that I'm glad that I don't treat people how some people have treated me. And I'm saying all that to say is, don't not believe in love just because the love that you were given somebody didn't want, didn't recognize, didn't appreciate, didn't acknowledge. It don't mean that just through love. It just means you're trying to give something to someone that they don't want it. They don't want it, they're not ready, they don't care. So that means you're supposed to take all this love that you have. You don't want to take a moment to give it to yourself, to recharge, to regroup, to revamp some things, to, tighten ship with like your boundaries. Make sure you actually were getting what you wanted. What do you actually want? Because I see some people, like, after a while, instead of giving up on love, they just settle in love. Love is, when love is there on both sides, love is expansive. Love makes you want to do more. Love makes you want to give more. That's why it's very important to pick the right person. That's why you end up in a situation where you're pouring into this person and you're like, I didn't get anything back. I mean, if somebody told you that they were giving out all expenses paid, all inclusive round trips to, I don't know, name whatever fantasy destination you wanna use, whatever island, whatever country, all paid, flight paid, food paid, hotel paid. You telling me you gonna turn that down? No, you are not. No, you are not. You're not gonna turn it down. You know, it's what's coming to mind right now. It was I had went to this person to add some little stuff to my car. I ended up going to get my windows tinted. And I had noticed something on the window. He basically was like shaping it to the window and stuff, and it was like little pieces from the ends that the little corners that he had cut, and he was taking them back off the I forget what you actually call it. He was taking them back off of the window after he shaped them, because I think he was cutting them for multiple windows, basically shaping it and however he did it. But I had noticed that it was like some pieces. It was some pieces of the from it still on the window, and I sat there for a minute and I was like, I'm just gonna sit back and let him do his job. But then a part of me I was kind of thinking about, like, in the past where certain things would happen, I didn't say anything, or I waited to say something. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna say something to him. I'm gonna ask him, you know, what's going on. Because technically it should have been at a shop, but the shop, it was like trying to allow me, it was somebody, like a person that I knew, asked this person, like, hey, can you get them in today? And it ended up being after hours, but they were still willing to take them because of the credibility from the referral, basically. So I was like, you know, I'll tell you why I said that in a minute, why I explained that part. So I was like, I'm gonna say something. I'm trying to come out of old ways, or at least make sure I'm still growing. Like, speak up. See something, say something, right? So I said something. I'm like, what's this? I'm like, what's this right here? And he was like, you talking about this is where I cut the corners out. Because I think I was like scrolling on YouTube or something, so I just happened to look up and see it. And so he's like, oh yeah, I was cutting the corners, just shaping it to the window before I get ready to put them on, basically, or install them, whatever he said. And I was like, oh, okay. And he immediately knew that I was overanalyzing. That's basically what he was saying. Like, okay, he's like, he didn't say anything at first, but I could tell he was like kind of reading where I was going with this, or what you know, see, allowed me to, if I was going to say anything or whatever. And I said, oh, okay. I didn't say anything else. I let it go. And I guess when he realized that I wasn't going to say anything else about it, since he answered the question, I don't know what kind of customers he's used to. So he was like, well, technically you're seeing stuff done that most customers do not get to see done. Like, you would have been like in the waiting room, and the car would have been in a whole nother area from you. So you're seeing stuff that nobody gets to see right now. And I think he said something like trust the process, something like that. We laughed about it. And I guess it was still sitting with him. Because then he brings up about, you know, he's like, you don't have to overanalyze it. And he was like, I'm going to tell you this. When someone, how did he put it? And if I scroll this up, I wrote it in my notes. Now, some people gonna hear this and be like, this is common sense or whatever. Great. If you knew this already, then I guess you're ahead of the game. That should be something to congratulate. I don't know why people feel like if they knew something before somebody else, that they gotta, oh, you just now learning that. You just now figured that out. Sherlock. It's like, well, good for you. Are you out here educating people and making sure that they get up on game, or are you just waiting to realize that, oh, I learned that, I must be good then? If this is what you're doing, then there's still something to be fixed there. Anyway, I can't pull up the notes because it's gonna stop the video, and I don't really, editing and stuff like that is not really my thing, because every time I try, it's like an issue. So I realize that's not my lane. So I'd just rather do a part 2 or a continuation than to go and do all of that. But anyway, the gist of what he says, like, when you're dealing with someone that is real and authentic, you don't have to do all of that, because a person that's real and authentic is looking to give. And he explained that people that are just trying to get you, just take your money and not give you quality, somebody is willing to take, you do that with that person. You don't do it with the person that's taking the time to actually make sure that you are taken care of, that is actually giving to you. And when he said that, I thought about the fact that this person took me because the person that referred me said that, asked, could they take me? And I realized that if it wasn't for that person, I would have had to wait till like 4 or 5 days later. So it put it in, I was able to put it in perspective for myself by him saying that. I realized I pulled myself back from the situation to see the big picture. The big picture is this person's doing me a favor right now. Something he did not have to do. And I was able to gain some insight and wisdom by allowing myself to be vulnerable. Because that's a vulnerable position, to try to tell somebody how to do their job. Even though all I was doing was genuinely wondering, are you about to put this tent over these little pieces? Like, am I going to be driving around with these pieces? Because I know me. I know that when I see something out of place, I can't unsee it. Like, I'm going to keep seeing it. So I was like, I need to say something. I'm going to honor myself, and I'm going to put myself out there on the line. This man could have cussed me out. This man could have told me to stay in my lane, but he didn't do that. He chose to educate me and to give me a little bit of wisdom. He could have said anything. He could have been rude. He could have took out whatever was happening negative in his day. He could have used that to take it out on me. He could have said, you ungrateful, B, blah, blah, blah. He could have did any of that. And what did he choose to do? He chose to remain calm, evaluate the situation, and figure out what was needed in that moment. That man could have said anything harsh to me. He could have said anything harsh to me. He could have stopped the job. He could have told me to go home and said, I'm keeping your deposit. He could have did that. And it only solidified that he was just dropping knowledge with the part about you do not have to do that with somebody that, and this might actually save some relationships. Like, pull back from the situation and really evaluate. Like, I had a friend. Oh, I did not mean for this to go this long. I had a friend that I believe he met, him and his wife were, this is an old friend of mine. I think he met his wife, they met in college. And he was graduating before her. And she was still in, I think she still had a year left. He decided to have her come live with him. He had her move in and he paid for everything. Because I don't know if something happened with her roommate. It was something. But what he saw was that if this is a problem for her, this is the person that I want in my life, and if this is a problem for her, I'm gonna fix it. I don't want her to miss out on her education because of this drama. So maybe in his mind he said, okay, if this is still a problem, she might risk, you know, not being able to stay in school. Whatever the case may be. I forget what all his thinking was. But it's kind of, it makes sense. She moves in with him and he's taking care of everything. And I remember it got to a point where he started to feel unappreciated. Like he started to feel like he found himself questioning if she actually wanted him, if she actually desired him. And he was thinking about, and I forget what happened that brought that situation, what brought that up, that topic up. This was a while back. But I just remember, like, when he was venting about that situation, like, to me, it just sounded like maybe she got complacent. Maybe she forgot who she was actually with and expecting certain things. And then, you know, he did admit, like, he thinks that he let too much go without putting boundaries down to the point where she just expected certain things rather than actually appreciate. Because people that have a good heart, they have no problem with giving. It's the moment that they feel taken advantage of, unappreciated, that then it becomes an issue. It's like I don't have a problem with helping nobody or offering my assistance. I have no problem with that until it becomes you're expecting it. Like, people with good hearts can be just as cold. I am choosing to be kind. I am choosing to show compassion. I am choosing to help you. I don't have to. I'm trying to remember why that came to mind. I think it was just more so coming from that story with the tent guy. And just seeing the bigger picture. And then I was saying that I wonder if this is some of the problems in some relationships. Like, people just get so complacent. It's like, don't forget the people that were there. Like, I don't know. I don't want to keep going on a tangent. And I did not think I was going to be doing this for almost an hour. Started off with a couple of thoughts and it just went everywhere. I guess this is the part where I'm supposed to say I said all that to say. But I said a lot. I said all that to say that don't give up on love. I said all that to say every now and then look at the bigger picture. If you have all this love to give, it's meant for somebody. But for now, give it to yourself if that's all you have. Or pour it into, like, your neighbor. Pour it into somebody else that's in need. Don't be selfish with your love. Just have better boundaries. Know your deal breakers. Loving somebody is a choice. And at any point in time, you or that person can renege on the contract or renege on the agreement. But if you're not overly attached to people or overly trying to claim another human being, it would be okay for you to let that person go. Maintain your own life. If you're with somebody, you have your own life and your own thing going on. It's like, I would love to have you come along this ride with me, but if you feel like, and I did a video about this, like, I think I put like a train to catch or a flight to catch, something like that. And this is how I pictured it, where it's like, you pull up at this person's house and you knock on the door, you're like, hey, we got to get going. And this person says, I'm not ready, or I'll meet you there, or I'm not going. And most of us are sitting there trying to convince this person as to why they should come. And maybe they see something that you don't see. Maybe they see that they can't give you what you need, and they're trying to let you go in the best way that they know how. Yeah, after all this time. Yeah, we've been through so much. Maybe they feel maybe they are afraid. It's like, it's okay. Yeah, it's like, y'all ever took somebody along, like y'all, like a party pooper? You ever had that? You wanted somebody to come so bad that when they came or they arrived, you was like, the night went to crap. Like, think about what you asking. Now, there are situations. I was watching a video, this probably was like 2 years ago. Who was that I was watching? It was some guy online, and he was talking about his aunt and her husband. And he said that his aunt's husband had ended up losing her job. I think they were already married at this point, though. So that could have also been why this situation is a little bit different. But he lost his job, and he basically told her, like, go save yourself. Like, it's over for me here. And he said that his aunt looked at him and was like, you about to get up, because you got me messed up. Basically, like, you about to get up. You not about to sit here and let everything go that we worked hard for. If you need time, you need time. But after these 72 hours, it was like, she's like, after these 72 hours, like, you getting back in this game, because I'm not about to carry this by myself. We built this together, and we are going to continue. And he said, I think within the next month or so, he ended up getting another job, and everything kind of went back. But he needed that in that moment. Like, that moment is going to be different, because they've invested time. And she probably has said that because she like, okay, he just down his luck right now. I see something that he doesn't see. I'm not letting this go. I'm not letting you go. You're going to take your time that you need for a second, but I'm going to need you to get your head back in the game. And he did. He did just that. So I think those situations can be a little bit different. For one, this is a married couple I'm talking about. With the guy that was talking about his aunt. They were married. I don't remember how long they were married. But clearly they had enough of a bond where she could see through his BS and was like, you trying to quit on me right now because something did not go your way. I think he was on that job for somewhere between 10 and 20 years. So that was basically like all he had kind of known too. So it's almost, you got to imagine a person is probably feeling like this is the end of the world. Same thing when some people are in a relationship for 10 to 20 years and their partner is like, I don't want to do this no more. I'm sure your world feels shattered. I'm sure you are devastated. I'm sure you felt betrayed. I'm sure you question, was this real? Was this actually the person I was supposed to be with? I'm sure you go through a range of emotions. I can't even imagine that. As I've imagined that with people that I was with for just a few years. I can't imagine like married 10 to 20, 30 years and it's like down the drain. I would never discredit anybody's feelings because everybody's feeling is valid. And I will give you, I'm kind of like that aunt a little bit. Like, I'll give you some time. But But yeah, I'm gonna need you to get back in the game at some point. That's kind of, I said all that to say that I'm gonna need you back in the game at some point, okay? I'm gonna need you back in the game at some point. Shake it off. Do your therapies, do your yogas, do your gyms, whatever you gotta do. Do your journaling, do your boxing. Do whatever you gotta do. Get your money. Use that pain for motivation. I'm all for it, honey. I'm all for it. Whatever you gotta do. Give it a chance again. Who gonna be the one less? It reminds me that I think it was like a cigarette company or something. It was like, I want to be one less, and it's like everybody, I guess, going in this direction, ain't got no color, and they smoke. And there's people that takes off the mask, or I guess that's part of them quitting the habit, and they go the other direction. Now they got all the colors back. Be one less. Like, if everybody is saying screw love, like, maintain your position. It don't mean I'm saying go out and start chasing it. It just means be open to it. You know a little bit more about how this works. You know a little bit more about yourself. At least you should by now. That's why you gotta let the pain go. Because the pain will make you think everybody's like this. The pain will make you think that there are no good men or women out here. The pain will make you think that you just need to be single because dating and relationships is so hard. It's like, no, the person that you were with, honey, you could have just been on an assignment. Or they could have been an assignment in your life to get you to move. Maybe you were complacent. Maybe you were living a lackluster life, and you needed that breakup to push you to want more, to just explore, to adventure, to actually start living. Maybe y'all both were there for whatever reason together. So let's continue to spread love. Let's stop this hate, man. 'Cause I don't. How many people are willing to do that? Like, don't give up on it. Love is not the issue. It's not loving yourself enough to choose the best people for you. That's the issue. Use it for motivation. Use it for the lesson that it was. And be open to give it a try. If you know that you get overly attached, well, how about you try not to get overly attached this time? How about you approach it and say, what role is this person playing in my life, and what role may I be playing in theirs? And then take it from there. Build a friendship first. Can you even be friends with this person? Can I leave $20 on the counter and go to the bathroom and come back and that $20 is still sitting there? Like, let's start at the basics. Like, let's start with the basics. We giving whole hearts and whole body parts and don't know nothing about nothing else. Like, just try it. Just try. It's like, if this way was not working for you, let's try another way. Being vulnerable don't mean you telling your whole life story. Being vulnerable is just as simple as somebody is trying to show you a picture and they scroll on their phone, and it just so happened that you see this woman or this man picture. Ask them, who is that? Do you mind if I ask who that is? Is that a family member? And see what they say. That requires vulnerability, because you can easily just be like, oh, I didn't see that. But it's like, if you're dating somebody and they trying to show you pictures and you seeing pictures of other people and it's just them, it ain't a family photo, it ain't a group photo, you be like, yo, what's up with this? Just ask questions. Apply a little pressure. You want to see what you're dealing with. It's probably easier said than done, but the world needs more love, y'all. I don't want people that's got the big hearts to start shutting down, because I want you to pull over if you see I got a flat tire. Like, I want you at least ask me, am I okay? If I drop my bag of groceries, like, I will won't, a lady coming to her car, I want her to be able to be like, sis, you need help? Yes, please. I don't want everybody to think everybody out to get each other. It's like, yo, if we got leaders, healers, teachers, advisors, prophets, prophetess, we got all these people that's, it's like you can't even fully connect with your gift for your purpose because of what somebody did, what one person did. Come on now. If your mission was simply to come here and love and be loved, don't deny yourself. Please don't. Everybody that you love don't mean you have to lay in the bed with. And good, genuine people that even if it's like people that's real and genuine, like they respect boundaries. You don't have to make it extra known. You don't have to do none of that. Like, what happens when you work with a coworker that's married? There's a certain level of a boundary. That person either walks as if, hey, I'm loyal to my person, but I know when we at work, I can joke with my coworkers. I'm not a stickler to where I can't act like my coworker didn't just make a joke and it's not funny. Like, this person's still a real person, but they have a real energy about them that's like, I don't play about mine either. And another person that is a real, genuine, authentic person will respect that. And they don't make passes. They don't do none of that. And y'all can have real life conversations and exchange wisdom in passing and keep it moving. Because everybody respects, like, hey, okay, you got this. We know we can't get emotionally tied up in conversation because you got a whole situation going on here. Like, real people, good people with real, genuine, good hearts respect each other. And they maintain boundaries. They will keep a boundary even before the person even expresses it. But you know, the wrong people, they act like they ain't in a relationship. They act like they ain't married. Then it becomes, it's up to you. But when you're dealing with another person that is a genuine, good-hearted person, and I get people say, hey, humans are humans. I understand that. And some people, I can't say nothing about that. I really can't, because I know people are people, but there are actually people that respect what they own, what they have going on, and there are other people that will respect what other people have going on, that won't cross that boundary. Because they also are emotionally intelligent and mentally intelligent enough to know that, hey, even though we respect each other, and even though I know what you have going on, you know what I have going on, we also know that we're human. We also know that conversation can lead to an emotional attachment or emotional bond, which can then turn into an emotional affair. So it's like, we talk and then we gotta keep it moving. I'm sorry if whoever you was dealing with before didn't know that. But we can't act like that there are not genuine good people out here still, because there are. And people that don't play about their person, whether it's man or woman, they will tell you straight up, and they will cut you down before you mess up what they got going on. They will. They may say it in the most nicest way possible. They may even, for people that don't like confrontation, they may even push you and laugh at the same time. Like, huh. And then there are people that will cut you all the way down for trying them, knowing that they got a situation going on. It ain't hard. I also said all that to say that it's really not hard. Is work required? Yes. But it's not hard. Be careful of the words that you choose over your love, over your life, your love life, your relationships, your money. Be careful the words that you speak. If you keep saying that this stuff is hard, you're going to attract more hard things to deal with other people. Speak life into the type of love life that you want. Speak life into the type of financial stability that you want. Speak life into the type of person that you are, that you're becoming. And also speak life into the old version of you, because time is fluid. Why do you think they're saying, what would you tell your younger self? You telling your younger self that as you're healing it back forward into the present. You reminding yourself by way of the past. Sending it back to send it forward. Words are powerful. All right, that's my cue, y'all. I'm hungry, and I've been talking and chatting, and I drove past where I was about to go eat because I wanted to get this video out. And sacrifice, that's another thing. People are willing to sacrifice. So you can tell truth by how it feels, the fruits that come from it, and the sacrifices that have been made. I'm gonna leave y'all with that.